All right, you lot, James from Ball Street here. Hope you're well. FanLeague is here. It's an exciting time. 13 games in English football to find out who really knows what they're talking about when it comes to English football. Not just Premier League, the Championship as well. I'm a QPR fan, so I've got a little advantage in that sense because we've been everywhere. We've been Premiership, we've been League One, and I'm going to go through 3 of my bankers, 3 of my upsets on my slip this week for the first set of fixtures in the Premier League, the second set of fixtures in the Championship. Now, it's early days, and as we go along, I'm going to have to try and find different ways of making it, and of getting it right, of trying to get that 13. Do we go scientific? Do we go with the gut? Do we just go with a shot in the dark? Do we find an octopus? I don't know. We're going to have to find a way together. So if you have any little tips for me during the week, you can always tweet me at James Alcott, and I will be very appreciative of those. Let's get straight into it. So, my 3 bankers this week. So it's the first week of the Premier League, and 1 banker, despite the fact that they lost the Community Shield and despite the fact that I'm a QPR fan, Chelsea. Chelsea at home, so strong at home, have always been so. Seemed a bit rusty in the Community Shield. Morata needs to get that first goal early doors, otherwise the press is going to be on his back. However, it's a great opportunity for him to do it straight up against Burnley, who of course last year was so poor away from home. I never thought I'd say this, but I think in John Walters, they've actually got a decent signing there. He will do what it says on the tin. He will get them goals that I think will probably keep them up. But regardless of that, they're going to struggle to get points, especially against the big teams. And Chelsea surely will win that first one. My second banker, Everton versus Stoke, another home win. We saw it in the Championship last week that the home teams did very well and started off very well. The hope and optimism of your fans at the start of the season means a lot, and it can get you over the line in that first game at least. And I think Everton, they've probably had the most exciting summer of their history in terms of transfers. Definitely the best summer in terms of moving forward with the players and the personnel that they've got in comparison to any other team. And I've got them beating a Stoke side that aren't ready for the start of the season. Stoke fans are very worried, very disappointed with how it ended last season. Didn't go very well at all. Stoke is a lot of people's outside bet for going down, and Mark Hughes being the first manager to go because he's been read the right act by the chairman, Peter Coates, and he says it's got to be better, and they haven't been able to bring in the players that they've wanted to excite the fans. So I think this has got all the hallmarks of another home win. So Everton, my second banker. My third banker, Brighton, moving up, and they look like that team that is too good for the Championship but not nearly good enough for the Premier League, lacking a bit of spark. They've got Knockaert up there on the right wing, but overall, Glenn Murray being the main man up top, I'm not sure that's really enough for them, and certainly against a team like Man City and what they've got going forward, this just seems like an away win for me, and I think Guardiola's team will start off the season very well again. Can they keep it going? That's what happened last year. They had a good start to the season, then it went wrong, but surely they'll be too strong for Brighton, despite it being their first game in the Premier League. On to my upsets, and I've got Southampton versus Swansea. I'm going for Swansea in this one. Southampton have had a difficult summer, new manager. The fans are starting to get a little bit nervous. They've been so consistent for such a long period of time. But despite that, Van Dijk wants out. And I think Swansea, I like Clement. He ended the season obviously well with them, and I think he'll get off to a decent start. It could be either a draw for Swansea or even a win. I'm going to go for an upset and an away win in Swansea in that first game of the season. Second upset, it's got to be Queen's Park Rangers. No one thinks we've got a chance this season. I'm not sure if we do either, but we won that first game of the season down to high pressing and working hard, and they got their rewards. Jamie Mackie and Connor Washington up front. They are going to work harder than any front two in the Championship, and away from home, that could be a real threat for us. Sheffield Wednesday, the favourites. One of the favourites to go up. Carvajal, he's had a couple of good years there, but hasn't got them up yet. And I think the pressure will be on him this year. They lost their first game of the season. I'm hoping there'll be a second upset and Queen's Park Rangers will get that second win of the season. But yeah, so I'm going for that for my second upset. And then finally, Newcastle versus Spurs. Something doesn't feel right for Spurs for me at the moment, and I think Newcastle with Benitez in that first game of the season, they have got a good squad, the best squad of the 3 that have gone up, and I think they'll be absolutely fine this season. I don't think they'll get into too much danger because I think the fans are behind the manager completely, and their squad was way too good for the Championship last year, had a lot of Premiership players. I think they're going to get off to a cracking start against Spurs. Of course, they beat them 5-1 at home in that in their last game in the Premier League. So the first one back, it's going to be them again. I think this is going to be a bit of a draw, but a promoted team getting a draw against a team that finished second last year, that's an upset all the same. So those are my upsets and my bankers. If you want to see my full slip, then you can see it on my Twitter or on the FanLeague Twitter, on the FanLeague website. If you're new to FanLeague, then get involved and tell your friends to get involved as well. Tweet me, as I said, at James Alcott, and let me know your thoughts on my predictions and send me yours as well and your tips and advice. And if you want to check me out as well, there's Bull Street, but there's also Great Touch for a Big Lad, which is a podcast I do. So we'll be talking about all those kind of things. I will see you every single week. If you've got any advice on kind of styles of picking your teams as well, I'm going with my general knowledge on this one, but do I need to go with my gut? What do I need to do? Let me know, and let's have a conversation as FanLeague gets underway.